Great. So on the previous video, I just kind of like put the idea of what CIPR might mean to the people kind of like more astute with legal terms, legalities. So that's basically all the Jamaican lawyers in the world combined. Okay, so you see where I'm going to. This is like a unification process. So when I say like collective intellectual property rights, what do you imagine as a lawyer? I'd like to leave that onto the lawyers to kind of like get back to me and say what they see it as, and let that be like the core of the conversation between the people. Because the process must be a people's process right through from the beginning, and that's the only way I would really address reggae music and Jamaica and everything, because I wouldn't really want to deal with Jamaica and reggae on a level of like, okay, on a bandwagonist type of thing, like, okay, they got a good thing going and maybe you could jump in their footsteps and do it like this and do it like that. I feel like every role has been played by the people, and they played way better than any of us ever going to play it, and so what's my role? I'm coming more from a Danish point of view. Is like, what's the main thing about Denmark? Denmark is about creating structures and how structures function and how basically are created by the community and by the people for the people, and that's what has led Denmark into this egalitarian society that has this great welfare society and all of that right now. Makes a lot of people from all over the world want to come and live here. And so, since Jamaica has all the ingredients to go further than it's come so far, I find, just like how I find it insulting to say that reggae music came from Africa. That whole thing, oh, reggae came from Africa, when you know that was a Jamaican process. And then again, to take that process, to me, to kind of like say, okay, let me go to Jamaica and record in Jamaica and make a name for myself in Jamaica. I find that to be insulting too, because it's like, um, what happened to the message in all that music? Maybe we are better off listening to what the message that they said, that Peter Tosh said, that Bob Marley said, Bunny Wailer said, and see how do we apply it to where we are, and then give it back to Jamaica in that way, rather than to go use Jamaica to remodel ourselves and get this whole like the Kingston psychosis or Rasta psychosis, and say you're the next Bob Marley and all of that. For me, it's a thing which it's a bit insulting, because the message really is coming from where what people have been through and where people want to go and what people are facing. And more than that, the unfortunate situation is what people have created, and now they're being deprived of benefiting from, because it is created in Jamaica. And so now that I touched on CIPR on a level and presented it to the lawyers, I'd say, now, if you understood the concept of collective intellectual property rights as the basis, and you understand that, and you understand the platform that Babsy has created for reggae music at UNESCO at the moment, you understand those two things. When you're ready to go ask the entire reggaeton community and confront them about the billions that are being made in the name of reggae or similar music, you have that foundation, you know, to address the issue, you know. And so, collective intellectual property rights. The best things, if I show a kind of picture, and we're gonna keep coming back to this whole collectivity thing, this is a unity thing, is Rastafari, Zion, right? Let's take "I Shot the Sheriff" as a song, right? "I Shot the Sheriff." So within the structure that exists, it says Bob Marley as the writer, right? I've heard from people that it was Esther Anderson. I've heard from Esther Anderson, and I heard from Joe, who did Caribbean Rights, because I actually met him in Cape Town. And he said it was Esther who actually wrote it and gave it to Bob and said, here. And Bob took it and created the song out of it. But the lyrics, everything was written by Esther. That's what she says. But then again, there's some lines which definitely were Bob Marley. You know, regardless of that, under that structure, there is that, and there's that dispute, or is that there's the speculation and all of that, and that is very common right across the board with all songs and all music, right? But the point I'm trying to make here is that there's the sheriff in the song, right? Who's gonna credit the sheriff? Well, him dead, so you can't credit him, but his family needs to kind of like eat food off of it, because He's a central figure in the song. Without him, the song would not be the song. He's the main actor. You understand? So you need to get paid too. So it can't just be Bob. The sheriff must get paid too, and the deputy played a role too. He create the story, so he must get paid too, right? And then there's the all of you, because all around in my hometown. What about the hometown people? You know, they're trying to track me down. There's the event. They're trying to bring me in guilty. You know, all of that creates the song, and all of that needs to be credited. Because if all of that was a movie, everybody would have to get paid for taking part in the movie. You understand? So when we look at reggae music as one big movie, that all the lyrics in all the reggae music all around the world, and it creates that big movie, and it brings in all of that money, is like, how do we make sure that every single profit that has been made off of reggae music, that the right dividend goes back to the people in the form of collective intellectual property rights. If you understand that, then you're ready for the next step in the business structure that I'm presenting to all Jamaicans around the world in the name of reggae music.